Welcome a brand new year and a brand new episode of MMOFTW. I'm your host, Bill Murphy of MMORPG.com, and this week we've got a weird band of things to cover, so let's get to it, shall we? Be sure to watch my lip eyebrow dance all episode long, because this is MMOFTW.
Got room for one more if you still want to go to Aspen.
Public forces.
We fought too hard to let the Empire beat us.
First up is an announcement from BioWare regarding Star Wars: The Old Republic. You might remember that the game had some hullabaloo surrounding the exclusion of same-sex relationships with its NPC companions way back before launch. The studio then capitulated and said they'd do their best to get them into the game in the future. Well, in the State of the Game number 2 from Jeff Hickman since going free-to-play, the company stated that they are indeed still worked on and forthcoming. However, Jeff said it's a lot more work than they had anticipated, but that he wants players to know they haven't forgotten. He also went into detail about Alum, the much loathed, I guess, open-world PvP map, and how it's getting redone, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but it is coming. For more info on the Old Republic State of the Game letter, head over to MMORPG.com or to SWTOR.com. And in a video for the PTR for patch 5.2, VG247.com dug up some footage of a World of Warcraft battleground called Defense of the Alehouse. Freudian slip there. DotA, for those paying attention. It's just footage of the map itself with no real explanation of what it might be, but one has to wonder if Blizzard isn't thinking of building some sort of Defense of the Ancients-like map into its existing WoW Battleground framework. We reached out for comment, and Blizzard's community team responded with a coy, well, we can't really comment on rumors sort of response, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they were working on some sort of Dota-inspired map. It only seems a natural fit for the IP that spawned Ice Frog's masterpiece. It'll be interesting to see how it works with WoW's mechanics, however, and without a flat denial, you can probably expect it to be coming at some point in the future. And for those on the hunt for a great MMO shooter, one that maybe has a little more PvE than PvP, Defiance from Tryon World just announced their first beta event. Scheduled to happen over the January 18th to 20th weekend, interested parties can sign up at vonbachindustries.com. The beta will give folks access to new tutorial missions, the first few zones including a reimagined San Francisco, and one that's completely covered in aliens, by the way, and one of the game's organized PvP maps as well. And moving along, we come to ArenaNet. Colin Johansson, the lead designer for Guild Wars 2, he got a little chatty on the boards this past week when he hinted that Guild Wars 2 will be seeing some serious additions in January and February, specifically in the World vs. World department. He said they're not working on new versions of the home maps, but that doesn't mean they're not working on new maps in general. Adding, you'll hear details from our World vs. World team once stuff gets closer to being finalized and tested, but we think you're going to be thrilled with the stuff that's coming. As an old DAOC fan, I'm freaking stoked about what these guys are doing. That's Colin's own words. He also said on the forums that a big blog post outlining the first half of 2013 is forthcoming, so get ready to have your socks rocked. And last but not least, we come to a story researched by Rob Lashley and myself, and well, it couldn't have happened without Rob Lashley, who dug up our source, but we've been getting reports from NCSoft that City of Heroes was not profitable, and other users and fans of the game saying that that's just untrue and that it was making money. We went straight to those sources. A former Paragon employee who wishes to remain nameless gave us some numbers to go on that matched the Q2 earnings call for NCSoft this past year. But it didn't take into effect any of sort of meaningful overhead as well. And when we reached out to NCSoft, they claimed that COH simply wasn't profitable anymore due to that overhead and costs that outpaced its earnings. Rather than scale the game back to a point where it wouldn't thrive, they made the difficult decision to close it down. Yes, well, I mean, we could sit here and argue all day about whether or not it was the right call. It definitely sucks for every single person involved, whether they work at the studio, whether they worked at NCSoft, or whether they played the game. It sucks for anybody who loved City of Heroes, but one thing's for certain, it's closed. It's not likely coming back anytime soon. For the whole story, be sure to head to MMORPG.com. And lastly, on a happier note, we come to our community spotlight. This week it's all about console MMOs and whether there are people out there who really want them. Yes, we definitely have had a few in the past. We've had DC Universe Online, for example, seems to be quite the hit with PlayStation 3 owners, but our forum users wonder if there's ever going to be a more, perhaps, traditional fantasy MMORPG ever again. With Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn on the way for the PlayStation 3, yes, it's still being worked on, we may have another good one on deck, but I'll be more interested to see what Blizzard is working on with Titan, and whether that title will be cross-platform. I have nothing to say that it will be, I'm just wondering considering they've been hiring console workers for so long. It could be about Diablo 3, it could be about Titan, it could be completely unrelated, but I would watch it. And let's not forget that Defiance, mentioned earlier, a big wide-open MMO shooter and RPG, is headed our way in April for the Xbox, PlayStation 3, and PC. Yep, console MMOs are coming, and I still think the PC will remain the king of the MMO for some time, especially with the gaming PC on the rise once more thanks to Steam and other such services. What about you? Let us know your thoughts on the console MMOs in the comments. That'll do it for this week. Be sure to follow us on all the social media outlets, that's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, at MMORPGcom without the dot, and you can also join our brand new Google Plus community at simply MMORPG. You click communities, you start typing in MMORPG, you will find us, the best damn MMO site, period. You can find me, if you're really, really sadistic, on Twitter at TheBillMurphy, and as always, thanks for watching, and remember, don't let a bad pug get you down.